Even though we all have gone through this experience, and obviously it wasn't a pleasant experience at all, there were so many stories of human resilience that need to be celebrated, that need to be told. It's such a fulfilling feeling, you know, to know that you could be a part of a film that's a part of a revolution. Every time I've tried to kind of conform to what it should be, it hasn't worked out for me.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future after 5 years, 10 years. I really don't think about it.
Real image was so strong that people could not accept me for anything else that I did.
Just that people used to think that I only do dramas and intense parts.
Don't just go with this.
I'm this.
Just because I'm your friend. ये मुझे बहुत टांग खींचती है यार.
Hey guys, my name is Shravan Shah and today I'm going to be having a conversation with two काफी talented people in the house. It's Bhumi Pednekar and Rajkummar. What's up?
Hey,
I had to wake you guys up. I'm like, इतनी शांति क्यों है यहाँ?
Every time after all the interviews,
I cannot.
you know, oh my God, that's the film.
This was the wake-up call, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get to the interesting things, I watched the trailer of the film and it took me back into a zone that I probably don't want to go back to. Okay, because I think all of us were dealing through this together in the pandemic. But at the same time, we also had to make sure that we were there for people, you know, to help them. And I mean, you've been a classic example of that. I know so many times you've put out posts on your social media saying, hey, there are beds available, do this, do that, you know, all of that. When you did the film, did those memories kind of come back to you that, hey, went through this?
Oh, I think also we were shooting the film during the times of COVID. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was still very fresh, you know, and I feel like even though we all have gone through this experience, and obviously it wasn't a pleasant experience at all, there were so many stories of human resilience that need to be celebrated, that need to be told. You know, we need to be reminded that in the deepest, darkest of times, you know, it is us that come together and we get each other out of the most terrible situations that could ever be. And I feel Bheed is that film. You know, Bheed celebrates that spirit of humanity. Bheed reminds you that, you know, even in the darkest times, you have to stand for what's right and what's wrong.
That's true.
You know, so I feel that's why it's such an important film and we all did it.
Yeah.
We love it.
Raj, coming to you, when you do a film like this, and it's not, let's be honest, it's not going to be easy, you know, going through these memories all over again, right? But once you're done with the project, does it become a little difficult, especially for a project like this? Because this, all of us lived it together.
Yeah.
So once you're out of the project, was it easy to snap out of it and be like, hey, you know what, done with it, piecing out?
No, but before giving that answer, I would like to say that, you know, of course, Bheed is based on, is set in those times, during COVID times. But the film is not only about COVID.
Correct.
The film is actually about humans and how they behave differently in different situations. There's a lot more happening in the film. COVID is certainly the backdrop of the situation, but eventually it's about human beings. How we all are so different, but we all have been put together at a spot in these trying times, and how we start behaving differently. You know, it's actually more about that. But yeah, it's a tough film. I won't say it was an easy film, but I think the way Anubhav sir shoots, I think he tries and he keeps it very light on set. Because you can't be shooting such, you know, heavy duty stuff, and then off screen also you're only thinking about that. So I think this is maybe his way that he keeps it very light on set. That you're between action and cut, of course, you're all there. Your energy is there, and also before an important scene, you're only thinking about that, focusing on the scene. But in between, I think he keeps it very light for all of us, which is great, because otherwise it can take a toll on your mental health.
Last year, both of you all together delivered a film, Badhaai Do, one of the films that's super close to my heart because of the impeccable performances that both of you delivered in it. I'm like, how are these guys so brilliant in a film and nailing every bit of it? Okay, when that happens as actors, okay, and it was a topic that had to be dealt with carefully because you all were walking on a thin line. One way or the other, you could have, you know, fallen down. When you deliver a project like that, does an artist in you feel satisfied that, hey, of course, everything that I'm doing is trying to move the needle a little bit, But here, I literally made the change probably, or my contribution towards change.
Absolutely. I think it's such a fulfilling feeling, to know that you could be a part of a film that's a part of a revolution of many kinds, that kind of changed the conversation, that helped people bring about a change in their own lives, so it's a very fulfilling feeling. And also I feel like, the impact that Badhaai Do had was so vast. I mean, it's going on till now, and I feel like it's a film that's going to go down in history. It's gone down in history, and it's going to be spoken for by many, many generations.
For sure.
And apart from the message or what the film stands for, I just feel like it's also a very well-made film. That's why it's so special to us. Also, that experience was like so dear to us, and I don't think I'll ever get over the film. So,
for you, I'll tell you. So there's this scene between you and your mother, the confrontation
best
scene. Especially the scene where at the terrace, the scene that happens, and I don't know, there's something so beautiful about that scene. And out of everybody, your mother understands you. And for what the character went through, I think, please tell me something more about that scene. Like, was it written that way? Did you all improvise it? What was it?
No, it was written, of course, that, I would be on the terrace all alone, feeling light, that finally I was able to get rid of that baggage, and I came out in front of my family. And then the first call I made is to my friend, Suman, and I want to tell her that I've done it. Something that I couldn't believe it myself, that I would ever be able to do it. And then the mother comes. It was all there, but I think what happened was very impromptu. It was not like we rehearsed or we blocked the scene. I just said, and it's a tough scene.
Yeah.
So you need time. So I got into my zone and I told her, I think we're ready, let's roll. And then he would just let me be. And Swapnil, the great DOP, he would just shoot. He would just capture whatever was happening there. I think we all felt it while doing it also. Even the scene before that, when I came out in front of my family, Shivaji tells me this. I don't know. I don't really have a memory of that. But he tells me that while giving that speech in front of the family, there was once before the shoot, I think, before we started rolling, I did my hand like this to her without even looking at her, and she held it, and we held each other's hand for 5 seconds.
Oh my God.
And she told me that did something to me and maybe to you as well. That shaped up the bond, that what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That, I think maybe, I don't know, subconsciously it happened to me that, Mom, you be there for me, please. Yeah.
Brilliant scenes out
there.
Yeah. Both of you all as actors, I have kind of seen your journeys from the start till now, and every time you guys manage to impress me. I want to ask you all this, that with everything around, the chaos, people telling you what to do, all of that, is it easy or difficult to sit down, gather all the information around you and be like, hey, you know what, this person said this person said this, but I am going to do this film not because ABC wants me to do it, but because I believe in it deep within. Is it easy as artists to do that?
I think the place where we are at, it is, but I also feel like, if you look at our film decisions, they've never been conventional.
Yeah.
So I feel like there was always, in fact, I feel every time I've tried to kind of conform to what it should be, it hasn't worked out for me.
Yeah.
I think because I've not enjoyed being a part of that film. I've not given it my 100%, and every time I watch that piece of work, I'm like, I've done what I should have done. I've not gone beyond. Because I've just not enjoyed it. And that feeling is the worst feeling that you can go through. Especially when you love cinema and you love doing what you do so much. But I feel like I've definitely gone beyond, how many scenes do I have in a film? All I think about is the impact that my character is going to leave behind.
Yeah.
And it becomes a challenge for me, right? So if I think of like 2 instances, like a Son Chidiya, where everyone told me, no, why would you do the film, etc., etc. Like logically on paper, you come at the 40th minute of the film. But for me, I wanted to work with Abhishek sir. I wanted to work with Chaupe. I wanted to be a part of that story because I saw what I could do, and also for my selfish reasons, because I saw that, here is a character that I can really chalk down and make sure that she's remembered. And that happened, right? Like till date, people speak about Son Chidiya.
It's one of your finest work, I think,
So I feel like I think it's just about your conviction, because you are given a canvas and how much you can push it, and that can only happen if you love what you're doing.
That's true. What about you? Is it easy for you to sit down and hush the chaos and the noise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Around.
Yeah. Nobody can force you to do a film.
No.
You have to believe in it. Your heart has to say yes to it. I think that's about it. I think that's something which I've realized during lockdown. But that's how I started my journey also. In films, to do films that only I believe. I have to believe in them first, and I've started doing that again. And I don't know what's going to happen in the future after 5 years, 10 years. I really don't think about it. But at least I know I'm happy. I'm in a happy space. I'm not in that stress that I've done this film for that reason, and what if it doesn't work out? What if it makes money but people give me gali that we didn't expect this from you, and what the hell are you doing? And I didn't expect this from out of myself. At least I would rather do work where my producers are happy, they make their profits, it's right in the economics of the film, and everybody goes back home happily.
Which is very important.
Yeah.
But when was the time for you guys that for the first time, you all were put in a box? And you all were like, listen, you can put me in this box, but I am not this person. I'm going to walk out of it right now. When was it for you? Did they put you in that box kind of thing?
Oh, yeah, right from the start of my career, right? Because like there was, after Dam Laga Ke Haisha, there was Toilet Ek Prem Ka Tha, then there was Shubh Mangal Saavdhan. So there was this preconceived notion that, I am away from the person who I actually am, right? I'm a Bombay born and bred girl, and I'm very proud and very happy that, I could convincingly play those parts that are so away from who I am. But like every time I tried, I dressed a certain way because my real image was so strong that people could not accept me for anything else that I did. So I was like, okay, it's time to change that. And I've consciously tried to change it in the last, I would say, 2 years. Starting off with Pati Patni or Wo, where I was like, okay, I need people to see that, okay, I am capable of doing other things. And thank God, that I was accepted there. And I feel like everything that's going to follow this year is definitely going to be very away from what people have seen me do. Like very, very away. I think I've reached on the other end of the spectrum, and I love it.
Which is great. For you, did that box exist? I don't think so, right?
Not sure. I think just that people used to think that I only do dramas and intense parts until Bareli Ki Barfi happened. Which, trust me, I never thought of it as a comedy. While
you
doing
never
it,
thought of it as a comedy?
Because I was not being funny.
Yeah.
I was just being the character.
Yeah.
And if it's all writing. If it's written with that utmost sincerity, if it's funny on paper and you just be sincere towards the written material, it would come out funny.
Yeah.
It's not like I was trying to make you laugh. I was making faces and see, I'm doing comedy. I was actually a victim.
Yeah.
You were.
And then I was trying to just prove a point in the second half when I become that Vidrohi guy.
Yeah.
So for me, but people, I saw the reaction in theatres and people were going crazy. Especially that bike scene, and for the first time I saw how people were hooting and clapping and whistling. And I was like, whoa, I never really
it's so strange, right? Like films that you don't expect suddenly become so cult.
Yeah.
Look, we all do. Raj and I are blessed to do like multiple projects in a year. And at times there are films that you don't get like, how could this have such a big impact? And it's amazing.
But I also think, and the answer to that is somewhere in what you said before this. You guys love cinema and your love for acting shows in it. Like for me, that film for you, about you, will be Dam Laga Ke Haisha. I mean, the way you've convinced people with your role. And I was actually going to tell you this, that when I was watching Romantics, and there are these scenes where you're giving cue to somebody, and I was like, how did somebody not figure she was going to be an actor? I'm like, how was this so difficult to figure? So, I mean, I think it's that. And for you, I think it's going to be Stree, man. I mean, I've watched it like 15 times.
Yeah, Stree is phenomenal.
And the way every time you say things on screen, I'm like, this guy knows the charm of making people laugh. I think comedy also as a genre is very difficult.
No, Stree, I knew it's a comedy.
Of course.
With Stree, I knew. Like with Ludo, it was still some in between. But Bareli was
brilliant for you, Ludo. I was like, and Raj and I had not worked together till then, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I was watching it lockdown when I was like, you know what, we need to work together, and then Badhaai Do.
Manifestation max, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh God. But which is that genre that you really want to do now? I thoroughly think you should do horror, but you don't
I know,
want to.
I don't want to. I've gone through a horrific. I've gone through one horrific experience. I don't think I want
I told her do
I really
like
want to
horror.
try do it. I want to do like an espionage thriller, or I want to do action. I really want to do action because I feel like it'll again like break a mold for me, for myself. Honestly, I don't care about.
Thriller would be great actually for you, like a Gone Girl.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, it would be great actually.
Manifestation pro max यहाँ करेंगे नहीं.
Yeah. मैं लगता भी हूँ ऐसा कि बेचारा और तू ऐसा
अच्छा
he's victimized himself in this.
बेचारा का भी
वही गॉन गर्ल की कास्टिंग होगी ना मैं ऐसा
बेचारा का भी I'm telling you I keep telling people don't like
don't just go with this.
I'm this
just because I'm your friend. ये मुझे बहुत टांग खींचती है यार. Yeah.
Technically that's wrong because 5 minutes before the interview it was the other way.
Yes.
Just letting you know.
Thank you.
We are friends,
the guy,
that's why.
of course. Yeah. No, but which is that genre for you? See? Which is that genre for you that you really want to do?
I don't know.
He's like, I don't know.
He wants it all.
Yeah, I want to do everything.
Fair enough. So do I.
Actually, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't, yeah.
Like an SLB film.
Yeah.
Oh.
सब यही manifest कर रहे हैं अभी. हम सब यही manifest कर रहे हैं.
No, I want to do a period film, but maybe do it in a very different way.
Yeah.
What you've been seeing.
I actually want to do a period comedy.
Oh.
It'll be
ये भी manifest कर देंगे. ये भी manifest.
You never know, yeah, because you know when we see times like when we, even though they were like, you know, when you see the 1930s, 1940s, you know, वहाँ पे मतलब बाकी चीजें भी तो होती होंगी. Like the West has tapped into it, right? When you see a lot of like Wes Anderson films, like they've kind of still tapped into it. Here we don't.
Like Benches of Sharon is one of my favorite films of last year.
Yeah.
How the humor is
crazy.
So crazy.
Crazy. But thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for being the rock stars that you all are. Keep killing
Thank
it.
you.
Keep slaying it that you guys always do. I'm going to say
Thank you so much. It was very nice to meet you.
This one is a wrap.